What's up, guys? Welcome back to another edition of Nerd Enthusiast Poker Podcast. Make sure you check out our sponsor, theslotsquad.com. They're great. They have all the exclusive sign-up bonuses for all the legal casinos, poker sites in the United States. So if you're in one of these legal areas, you want some free money, go sign up. They have match bonuses, deposit bonuses, and they stream every single night with giveaways. Go check them out, theslotsquad.com. And let them know that Hoagie sent you. I know Brian's not thrilled about this one because it cost him like $18 to tell
Oh
this
my
story.
goodness, dude, that's in my notes. Like, are you kidding me?
All right, here we go. Movie review time.
It was like, what do you call it? What was the other movie we? Oh, it was like Lucky You. Remember my Lucky You debacle where I snapped the disc, and then I had to rent it, and I'm like, I can't believe I just paid to rent this piss. But no, you know what? I'm not gonna lie. It was better than Lucky You. But go ahead.
All right, so Card Counter just recently came out. I didn't hear about this movie till like last second. About maybe like when I say last second, about a month before. It's directed, written by Paul Schrader. Am I saying that right? Paul Schrader.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
So Paul Schrader directed and wrote it. And so it's a really, really dark story, man.
Yeah.
I didn't. Okay, so I went in there like kind of thinking a little bit from watching the preview that it was going to be a little bit dark, but it was dark and very dry, man. What did you expect like going into it? Like, what did you think going into the film like you were going to get into? Because it's not really what I thought it was going to be.
So I'll be honest, like I am the least interested in trailer guy. Meaning like if there's a movie that I really want to see, I don't want to watch the trailer because I feel like the trailer always gives a little bit too much information about the movie. So I know we had discussed doing this review, so I didn't watch any trailers for it. If it came on, I would just kind of ignore it. I thought it had more to do with obviously the story, like the card counter. I thought like maybe he got screwed in life and, you know, it had something to do related to poker or blackjack or something related to gambling. I didn't see the angle or the plot of what it was until like, I'm like, holy shit, like this has very little to do with card counting and a whole lot to do with like the dark side of the military and, you know, interrogations and all this stuff.
I think the thing that threw it off is like card counting is blackjack and it's mostly poker.
I know.
So that was like, you know, like you were saying, it just throws you off from the get-go because you're thinking, and you know what, that's like one of the things like people always, like people that don't know poker, they always say that to you, like, do you know how to count cards? And I'm like, well, it's different. Like
You need to see the cards to be able to count them.
yeah, like poker, everyone asks that question. It's like, no, that's blackjack, dude. That's not the way this is. Very dark in the sense that it's not based, I don't think, on an actual true story, but those incidents did occur where those guys got jammed up over in the Middle East for taking pictures of like basically torturing and you know, humiliating those prisoners of war over there.
Yeah.
So that part of the thing is true. This storyline is not, but it's based on, I guess, historical, you know, what do you want to say? Historical facts of things that happened.
Yeah, I'm sure that it was loosely factual, but I don't think that the logistics of this particular story were true. Like this character wasn't based off of, you know, an actual former military interrogation officer. Getting into the story, it pretty much starts out with this guy who spends time in prison for these war crimes. And you don't learn about that until later on in the movie. Basically, he was a interrogator for the military at a prison. I think in the movie it's Guantanamo Bay, and it's a little bit graphic, the things that they show in the video. But long story short, he gets popped for something that his commanding officer kind of forced him to do, that he kind of got a part of, and he serves time in jail. While in jail, he learns how to count cards, and that's how we have the card aspect of things. Correct?
Yeah.
Right.
I think it did show, what I did like about it though was it did show like kind of like the traveling of the poker circuit world, like how you just kind of like, if you're not into that, like people think it's very exciting. You know, people like they when I talk to people like about traveling places, like especially like when I first met my girlfriend and stuff, and like I'm explaining to her like what happens when I go to Vegas and like things like that. I'm like, you know, people have that mentality like you're going out every night partying and getting crazy.
I mean, I'm
like,
sure if you're shipping stacks, yeah.
But like people, you explain to them like, dude, it's pretty boring, dude. Like we get up, we eat, we go
Hit
to the
the
gym,
gym.
we go grind for
12 hours.
Yeah, 14 hours. And then maybe we like one night go out if we're not tired, like, we get out there. And it's very, it's a very tedious lifestyle if you're doing that as a full-time player.
Full-time job.
So I did like that they did kind of paint that image that it's very tedious. It's very boring. It just, you're killing a lot of time. And like, they kind of show his like lackey or that crazy dude who is from Ready Player One, the other kid.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
kept like 10 minutes in the film like, where is that dude from? I'm like, oh, Ready Player One. That's where he's from.
Yeah.
But like they show him like just sitting around the casino, like just drinking, like in the lounge. Like there's not, if you're not actively gambling, like there's
Not much for you to do.
Yeah, so he's just kind of along for the ride, and so I did like that they showed that. I did like, for the most part, everything seemed pretty. I don't want to say extremely accurate, but I mean it was pretty accurate.
To some degree.
The way like they did certain things on the table and like the little nuances. Who was it that they had someone that actually, was it Stapleton?
Who was he was like a consultant.
Yes, I think it was Joe Stapleton.
I think that's what it was.
It was Joe Stapleton. Joe Stapleton was a consultant on the film. He helped with like some of the little stuff. Like some of the things looked a little more accurate. Here's a couple downfalls. I didn't see, unless I only watched it once. Once was enough for me. I didn't see any celebrity, like poker celebrity.
No, there was none.
There was none.
There was none. I was surprised by this, but did you see like WSOP was the brand
Everywhere.
and I'm shocked that they would have signed up for that given the like the darkness of the film. Like so like yeah, but like it's not giving anything away. Like he travels like the World Series of Poker circuit, so to speak. And what I didn't like was like it looked like they were rec room like it wasn't like a World Series setting. It was like a rec room. Like the tables didn't look like the chairs were ridiculous. And then come on, like the same dude, USA makes it to the final table on every circuit. Like,
listen, here's what was annoying about that dude. Listen, I mean, okay, if the film went a different direction, it played out perfect because I took my girl and she watched it with me, and she's like, "Oh, I don't like that guy." And kind of like we talked about in, what film was it?
It's probably Lucky You.
Yeah, how they had, I think it was actually Hennigan, that John Hennigan played the bad guy in that role. And he played that role. So, like, you didn't like this dude. You didn't like this dude. So that was the point of it. But in reality, he had nothing to do with the film. And at the end, it was just a buzzkill. And I'm not going to give it all away, but it's like, it was pointless.
Who is he to the film? He means nothing.
It could have meant a lot.
Well,
it could have meant a lot, right? It could have, like, if he went that way and where would it went, But, like, why put this guy in there so much if he, at the end, has nothing to really do with the story? Like, they try to paint this picture of, like, a villain and a final heads-up, like, duel to the death kind of match here, and it turned out to be irrelevant to the entire thing. So it was like, why was that aspect in there? And he wasn't funny.
No.
Like, like it wasn't like a comic relief, like, oh, okay, a little comedy here.
For someone who's looking at it from the poker angle, like you and I watched it because it says the card counter or whatever. We're like, okay, cool. Poker undertones. You watch it and you're like, oh my God, like
it's annoying.
That has real that's not the reality of circuit poker. Like, yeah, there's that guy, but like, come on. I just felt like it was very overdone.
It was overdone on that part of that character. Like, a little bit, like, is he annoying? Yeah, but like he was wearing the same exact thing, doing the same thing. Like, it's like,
I did like how he, like, okay, so basically he gets backed in the movie by Tiffany Haddish. She's like the money she's like the money man. She fronts him and gets him on the circuit scene. I liked that end of it, like the conversations that he has with her about how, like, look, people get backed. Even though they might be running hot, if they lose, they still owe that debt to their backer. And then he says, like, look at some of the hottest players in the series. They're no longer hot anymore. But that's the thing. Like, that's why I like the plot of the movie, because so obviously in prison, like, the idea is like for you to be like reformed, you come out like a better person, and like that was his like mantra. He comes out as like a better person. He's changed man. And he lives by like this strict routine. And then obviously he's introduced to someone who like screws that up, and then he starts deviating from that routine and that path, and it's like that's the beauty of like being a degenerate. Like one taste of I wouldn't say like victory can screw everything up for you along the way.
I just thought of a quote by the late Lane Flack. I'm pretty sure it was Lane Flack that said this. And I listen, I'm butchering this. I don't have the notes. I'm just off the top of my head. I tried to look it up real quick. I can't find it. One time, Lane Flack, this had to be early 2000. I want to say probably like 2003 or 2005 or something. He was like 5th in the world or something like that, ranked 5th in the world. And he was in debt, like, I don't know, like he was 5th in the world in rankings, but was still down like $1 million or something like that.
Yeah.
And they were like, someone interviewed him. I got to find the interview. We got to bring it up one time. He goes, what do you feel like how's it feel to be 5th in the world? He's like, man, I'm down $1 million, so I feel bad for the 6th place guy. And people don't realize that. Like, that's a lot of those top guys are way
That's
in
the
debt.
reality.
That's the reality of the game, you know?
Yep.
Yeah, so I did like the fact that they kind of explained that, because I was explaining to my girl that we were watching, I explained to her, like, this is what happens, when people buy action on you and percentages and things. Like, I've explained to her a little bit. Dude, here, listen, a couple things that I don't know, just like it felt off. Like Tiffany, what is her name? Haddish, right?
Yeah.
Comedian, right?
Yeah.
Was not funny in the
I
movie.
know they put her in like a
serious
serious role,
role.
like a
And,
love interest role too.
I thought she'd be better if she was funny, because it at least would have like felt that the film was like, it gave you that little relief a little bit. It was just way too serious.
Way too serious. Yep.
But dude, I don't want to give it away, but that phone call at the end when he gets that text message, dude, that part definitely was like, oh, like I felt that on my stomach. I was like, oh, so it did hit, like a couple parts did hit you. You're like, you see that text message come through and you're like, oh man, dude. So I don't want to give it all away to you guys, but
I would check it out. I mean, look, again, they put the words in there, the card counter. If you're looking for something that's related to poker, it has poker undertones, but
it has the story.
It doesn't really tie into the plot all that much. Like, it has something to do with it, but if you're looking for like, a rounders, you're not going to find it here.
Yeah.
If you're looking for like the grand, that's all poker, Cincinnati Kid, you're not going to find it here. It's not with this movie, but it is good.
Can we talk about the last thing though? It is rated R, by the way. It's an hour and 51 minutes. IMDb rating currently at 6.2 out of 10. Which I feel is like a little bit high, but it was shot well. The film was done well. It's very professional looking. But can we talk about the sheets, man? What? Okay, so I heard we kind of talked about. So your thought makes sense, but I still don't understand the ending. So without giving away, so if you watch, and you can actually see it in the trailer too, he ties he stays in a lot of hotels, and he brings white sheets with him, and he ties down the entire room with white sheets. Now, you want to explain what you think your theory is why he does that, which makes sense.
Well, I originally thought, until you brought, your angle of it, I originally thought that it had to do with the sterile environment of a jail cell, like how everything's plain and drab and uniform. There's not really much color or pop unless you're adding something to the room itself. And I think that he was trying to recreate that, because like if you watch the very first scene where he's doing it, he takes like the pictures off the walls, he takes the phone off the hook and the alarm clock. Like, you don't get any of that stuff in a cell.
Yeah.
And I think he was just trying to recreate like what he had been used to for 10 years. But then, I mean, like you had said, like later in the film.
So two things don't make sense, right? I get that. So he likes structure, he likes the time base. He likes the drab of the room. But then he hangs out in casinos all day, which is the brightest, flashiest, loudest crap you could ever be in,
the
right?
Complete opposite.
Complete opposite. But then, without giving away again, I'm not going to drop spoilers, but he does go to someone's house at the end, right? That's related to the film. He goes to this person's house, and then there's a scene where the other guy comes in, who this guy was a mentor of his or a trainer of his or whatever, without giving it away. And then this guy's entire house is done this way. So then I thought, well, did this guy do this, and then he taught him to do this? Like, is there some kind of like
connection
to this, or did he do this when he entered into the place and he did himself? And I'm like, Like, how many bed sheets does this dude own?
Dude, think about how long it took to tie all that stuff with the twine and shit. Like, I get in at like 2 a.m. after playing poker for 12 hours. I'm not going to want to tie my fucking bed up. I just want to go to sleep.
Yeah. So I tried looking up a little bit, but if you guys know a better explanation of what that was all about, or maybe there's something we missed that has to do with military interrogation or something along those lines of why that was. Because originally I was also thinking, like, you know, if you like murder someone, that, you know, the blood doesn't get everywhere, so you can wrap it up and throw out the sheets.
Yeah.
I thought
that's what
too.
I thought too. Yeah, no, I feel you.
So that's why I thought maybe it was more the interrogation side of things. Like, that's why he always had his house or place like that as well. So, but anyway, if you're watching this, let us know what you think. Put your comments down below. If you loved it, hated, or, you know, indifferent. But if you thought something that we said, you saw something and you can explain it better than we can, please let us know, because I would like to know more.
Don't rent it on Amazon or Comcast. Wait till it comes out. Because, again, I would have much rather paid $18 for a ticket and like the large Coke and a popcorn than for $18 to sit on my couch and be like, oh my God, I can't believe I paid $18.
Wait, here's Keen. You know, I guess I'll call with third pair here with $75. Oh, watch a movie for 18? Hell no.
Wait a minute. I have a gut shot here.
I'll call $75.
I'm in.
$18 for a movie? Absolutely not.
It's sick how we justify things, right?